Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome to this Monday night live from your career coach Rod. Hello to Mencio Gossip. I can see you there. I'm not sure that I've said it correctly or that it should even be spoken. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Uh, so I wanted to talk tonight about self-employment because for me this was like a huge stumbling block to get over. It's like in the way of wealth, right? And I didn't get over it easily. Um, in fact, I was the first person in my family, my entire family, to leave employment for self-employment. I had no roadmap. I had no mentor. I had fear, but I was also determined. I looked up one day at work. I had already entered the digital health world, and I realized I was doing all the hard work there for everyone. I was doing the most complicated bits, the most clinical bits, and everyone around me was making more money than me. And that's just not fair, right? How can this be? Um, so that was sort of my turning point, and then I just decided I had to face my fear and figure it out. Um, After I did, I've had a run, 15 years plus now, where I was making 200,000 or more annually. But really, the money isn't even the best part. There's so much more that goes with it. So today I'm going to share how hiring the right team, which was a tiny amount of money, really set me free from everything that frustrated me about employment, about using my nursing degree, right? I was always hiding my side hustle from my boss. They gave me a little bit of work to do, and I would do my work quickly. And while they weren't looking, I was pursuing something else. I was always looking for something else, looking in another direction, but always secretly, right? Um, so everyone in my family had jobs or they were on welfare. Intergenerational poverty for the most part. My parents, grandparents, employment and low income. It was like a religion for the family. A lot of the extended family were all on welfare, and my parents were enlisted in the Air Force, which meant that they weren't making a lot of money, and we were with two people working as a family, we were lower middle class, kind of struggling to make ends meet and stay above water on a sort of ongoing basis, right? So when I told them that I was going to leave my job, leave employment, they thought I was crazy because it was the only way they'd ever held on. I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't know how to invoice. I didn't know how to manage all the taxes and the filings. I didn't know how to even price my services. Like, well, how do you like set a rate and what's ridiculous and what's normal and that sort of thing. Um, but I had watched secure jobs vanish overnight, working at Intel and some other places where there were just mass layoffs, right? And so I knew that staying employed was going to be the real risk. And my favorite instructor, when I was getting my master's degree, told me that I had to work for myself. And she told me something else, something that really changed my life. She says, learning is difficult, learning is painful. She was Polish and she had sort of a good Polish accent with her there. And so I knew that I had to learn to do this self employment thing and that it was going to be painful. I had some things to figure out, maybe some mistakes to make. But I was tired of hiding my potential. I was tired of just doing the little job they gave me and pretending to be less capable so that my boss wouldn't feel threatened. But that shift when I was at work and I realized everybody else was getting paid more than I was for the same job, except they had the easy part. That was the kicker. That's when I just couldn't take it anymore, and I had to do it. So I started looking into it, and I was determined to read everything, do all the research, get on top of the whole thing. And I realized pretty quickly that was not going to happen. I was not a lawyer. I was not an accountant. I was not a banker. There was a lot of things I didn't need that I didn't know that I really needed to understand. So I educated myself as well as I could. But then I got an accountant. I got a little bit of time from a lawyer. I got a business mentor who'd already made this leap and made a bunch of mistakes herself. And a banking advisor so I could set up proper business accounts and all the rest of that stuff. And all of this time and attention, I spent like $2,000 up front. $2,000. It's the best investment I ever made. The first client that I had, they paid me on time. My taxes got handled, and I was legitimate. It was a fantastic feeling. There I was making $95 an hour. When I was at the bedside, it was $35 an hour, and I wasn't working as hard as I did at the bedside. And the most important part, though, was that everything that annoyed me about my employers, the places that I worked, the politics, the pay caps, seeking permission to go on vacation, all of the rules and the requirements, all of that was gone. Now I'm in charge of what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it. A complete release. But right now, the world has changed, right? I did these things like, 15, 20 years ago, whatever. The world has changed. It's gotten easier. It's gotten better. For clinical people right now, if we take just one tiny slice of one opportunity that's out there, a telehealth market, it's exploding, 455 billion by 2030. And this is not about sitting there taking video calls at your house. This is about interoperability. This is about translating clinical needs to technical teams and using all of your skills without threatening your boss. Using your skills not to directly deliver care to patients, but to set up the system for those who do. And because a clinical person like you with a real clinical brain sets it up, it works. It works right. It works the first time. And they save millions that they would have made in mistakes without your guidance. So all of this extra pay and all the extra money and everything else, that's why they pay it, is because a good clinical person who tells them real clinical things saves them time, saves them money. It's a plain exchange. You're bringing value. You're being paid for the value that you bring. But beyond the money, so $200,000 annually for 15 years. Yeah, it was about $3 million in revenue, but I had some years where I did better as well. But here's what the money can't measure, right? You get to choose the projects that excite you. You can grow in any direction you want without seeking permission. People will just be happy that you've got new skills and hire you for those. You can take courses without begging for professional development funds. You can go on vacation when you decide that it's right. I always did that between contracts. I'd build in a month, maybe 2 months of nothing time, just so I could go and enjoy the money that I'd been earning. And building expertise openly instead of hiding it, that was a huge relief to me. I was finally able to come out as interested in more than just the little tiny bit that they'd been giving me. And then I became the role model that my family never had. We didn't have any of those self-employment, go get 'em kind of people. So for me, I became, the first, the one that shows everybody that it's possible. And now my family can see entrepreneurship as normal. I broke the employment-only cycle. There's nothing wrong with a job, but there's a lot that's right with self-employment. One example, I was working for a hospital in Dubai from the United Kingdom because I could, because I was doing good things for them, and I told them I couldn't travel. I needed to be in England. It was a visa thing at the time, and poof, it meant that I needed to get up a little earlier in the day so that I could attend the morning meetings. Well worth it. It was magnificent, and it paid well. So here's how you do it. Here's one path, and there's not just one path. The thing is, the path from bedside care to a self-employed digital health person traveling around the world is not a straight line, but it's also not mysterious. First things first, build your team. Even before leaving employment, find an accountant. Find an accountant who knows healthcare consulting. Join professional networks like HIMSS and other digital health groups. Connect with at least one other person who's already doing it. That way you can model what they did without having to discover it. You can just ask them, what do you do in this case? How much money is that worth? That sort of thing. And then next, go on and take on your first project. Take on small projects if it makes you uncomfortable. Weekend workshops, advisory roles, that sort of thing. Use your professional team to structure everything appropriately, and document everything for your portfolio. Future clients want to see what you've been doing. Then they're impressed with what you've been doing, and they pay you more than your first clients. It's wonderful. And then finally, make that leap. Replace your hospital salary, at least half of it, with the first contract over the same amount of time. And then deal with that fear of, wait a second, this is a contract, it's going to end, and after that I won't have anything. Yeah, that's one of the fears that I had all the time. And in 25 years of doing this, I've had 5 months of no contract. The fear was not founded, right? Because I've spent that much time in between regular jobs, right? Regular jobs. By, I don't know, the end of the first 6 months or so, you should be meeting or exceeding your old income. And the scariest part for me was that very first invoice that I sent out. After that, it's just a business. Like, you're running a small business and you are a small business owner. You're one of those people they talk about on the news, small business owners. But why now? Right now, all over the world, this is exploding. NHS is going full integration by 2028. That's a massive consultant shortage here in the UK. The new IHO designations in 2026, they need clinical input now, urgently, yesterday. 130 million was just invested in senior digital health, duos, and they need clinical expertise. So, that 1 quarter I spent in gerontology and nursing school, oh yeah, that's extremely valuable. But here's the big one, the bugaboo that's coming along for all of us. 2027, 2029, somewhere in those, that's what's going to separate those of us who have adapted to AI and those of us who didn't. So you can sit there and hide your potential for another few years, or you can claim it now. And just to throw something in there that's even a little bit ridiculous, I'm working with a company in Pakistan, helping them skip all of the interim steps and go straight to the end, like where the West is. Just skip all of the learning, skip all of the terrible learning curve. So the fear that you feel about moving into self-employment, that's normal. Everyone has it. Welcome to the club of everyone, right? We meet every Friday at the bar, whatever. But that's normal because for most of us, that's your family's employment history. That's your family's employment programming talking to you. And I spent years frustrated by employers who couldn't see my value. Don't waste yours. 3 things that changed everything. Hire the right professionals, start while you're still employed somewhere else, and trust that your clinical expertise is actually worth more. It's hard to see that when you're swimming in the water where everyone has clinical expertise and some people have more experience than you. But leave those clinical waters and step into a group of technical people, and you're a genius for making obvious observations clinically. So for me, it was 15 years. That was $3 million in revenue, unlimited growth. It was all because I hired the right people and I faced my fears to take the leap. So DM me Freedom if you want my guide for building this out and making your start. And next time I'm going to go on to another topic. But for me, this was a big stumbling block, and one that I faced rather late. So I would encourage you to realize that everybody's got this fear, decide that you're going to get over it, and then lastly, just figure out how. I can help you with that. Lots of people can help you with that. And anyone who's got a hack or a hustle or some way to not pay your taxes and do those kinds of things, they're lying to you. They're going to get you in trouble at best if they're not just scamming you. Everything above board, everything open, everything done right, so that you cannot do it just once, but keep doing it for a long period of time and really change the arc of your financial future. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat, and I'll go ahead and monitor that for just a minute and see if there's anything people want. If you have a question or something that you're afraid is rather impolitic, you'd rather not say it in front of other people, that's fine. Just DM me and I'll get back to you with the real truth. Like the stuff that I'm talking about tonight, I did not learn from a book. And you know they didn't teach it to me in nursing school. So just let me know if you have questions, and if not, I'll see everyone next week. And on a personal note, we had a major victory today. Our grandmother, who is 100 years old, just got a little apartment right down the street from us. So we'll be able to walk down, have a cup of tea, and enjoy her company while she's still with us, without having to do an hour and a half drive somewhere and that sort of thing. So it's a major milestone for us. Looks like a Christmas gift is on its way. So thanks to everyone. I'll see you next week on Monday and talk to you soon. Good night.